Right, this weekend, Oklahoma's coming to town, first time since 2015.
I know, and you know, it's really cool, number one, to have them in the SEC. We have tremendous respect for Coach Gasso and her entire staff and program. Obviously, right now, they are the best of the best in college softball, and everybody's chasing the Sooners. And what a cool opportunity for us to get them here first. We go there in 2027, but just a great opportunity for our program to showcase our facility, our fans. Saturday's already sold out, and I know that you know, I think it's a mutual respect between the two teams. It's not a contentious rivalry. I think it's a classy rivalry. We play them in the postseason forever. The World Series, Super Regionals here, obviously, but this is going to be fun, and it's A-Day, and I know that Coach DeBoer is a huge softball fan. I'm hoping that he gets over here maybe after A-Day or Saturday, Sunday, and it's just going to be a great weekend for sports fans because there's a lot of stuff going on in Tuscaloosa.
You talk about them being the best of the best, and obviously their championship success the last few years kind of shows that, but your team this year has beaten multiple top 5, top 10, top 25 teams. Yeah, so kind of, obviously this team's not going to be intimidated. Kind of how do you approach when you're facing a team with kind of the aura of Oklahoma right now?
I think it's one of the things that we're really good at, honestly. You know, we had chances to win so many series too, you know, and you don't want to rehash the what ifs, and you just got to move forward and, you know, take advantage of this opportunity because we're number one, we're at home. You know, it's tough as hell to win on the road in the SEC, and you guys all know that because you've been on the road in the SEC and you've seen crowds, and LSU had a great crowd, you know, all 3 days. It was the only game in town. Baseball was out. So it was nothing but softball in Baton Rouge, and you know, it's just a tough environment to play in, and it's gotten that way over the years. So I'm hoping that this environment is really, really crazy and good in a classy way, and you know, we kind of greet them with our fans and how we do things here.
Patrick, do you remember where you were, what you thought when you heard Oklahoma was coming into the league?
Oh boy, it was probably in the summer, wasn't it?
Yep.
I was probably recruiting, and I do remember like people coming up to me and goes, "Oh boy," and I was like, "Hey, the more the merrier." And I thought right then and there, I was like, "Man, I got to schedule smarter." And I don't think I learned my lesson this year, but I will from now on, because it is a grind. And you know, just this morning, I looked at the RPI, and you know, LSU, Florida next weekend, OU this weekend, South Carolina was either number 1 or number 2. So we have everybody but one school in the top 30 in the SEC. So 14 out of 15 are in the top 30 of the RPI, which is the metric that really matters in softball. So it is a crazy, crazy year, just like basketball, I'm sure just like baseball. You got to bring it, and you know, we need a competitive advantage, and hopefully that's our home crowd.
What is it like for you to kind of see the SEC? I don't want to say dominate, but you know,
Yeah.
you mentioned it, basketball,
I mean,
baseball.
Yeah, we as a conference, not me, but we as a conference, we need to win some more natties. It's as simple as that. Now, I don't consider OU's natties SECs. They were Big 12.
Yep.
Now, from now on, if them or Texas, you know, but we need to dominate that way. And I hope it's us, but it's, I think it definitely can happen because it's just going to be crazy where if all 15 of us get in, that's 15 out of 16 regionals where an SEC school is planted. So it's going to be, if you think now is fun, wait till May.
What do you need to see out of your pitchers, especially in starts this weekend and really the back half of SEC play?
I think number one, just give us a good competitive start. We got to eliminate the freebies at the beginning of the game, and that's also on the defense, because we've had first inning errors 50% of the games, and it cannot happen. It's Debbie the Downer immediately when somebody makes an error like that. So we got to fix that. We just have to make the plays, eliminate the walks, the wild pitches, the pass balls, whatever you want to call it. We have to eliminate a lot of the freebies. And I thought we did really well Saturday night. You know, we had bases loaded, 1 out, top of the 7th, and 4 and 5 up to bat. Didn't come through, but you know, next time they will. And then Sunday, we put together, I thought, a really complete game and, scored 8 runs and gave the pitchers a cushion. So we can do it, just like you said in your tweet, we can do it. And, we've been in games, I think it's 8 games where we were leading in the 6th or 7th and didn't finish the deal. So they know it too.
Lauren Johnson obviously had a huge weekend and has been big since she's kind of been put in a starting role. Just kind of what kind of testament is that to her that it's a deep outfield, that she worked her way up and has kind of come into this role?
Yeah, probably the deepest outfield we've ever had. Crazy how much talent is out there, and unfortunately somebody has to sit. But she kept working. She put her head down and said, I'm going to get better. And then the best thing about her was she got her opportunity. She took advantage of it. And, I said at the very beginning of this year, we have 17 hitters. And when we can get 17 hitters with a good mindset, whether you start or not, we're going to be the toughest team out there. Because if I just turn around to the dugout and say, Kristen White, get a bat. Brea Hodges, get your bat. And she feels good about it, that's probably going to be a good outcome for us. But if we only have 9 that are playing in a good headspace, that's not gonna go very far. And Lojo is just like, sitting in the 9th spot, and I honestly thought about moving her up and didn't do it. And then she has 4 RBIs and, crushes it in the 4th spot. And I was like, okay, it was a good thing you stayed.
Yeah.
She stayed. And then Marley in the 8th. Between the 2, I think they had 6 hits. So 8 and 9 really did the damage for us on Sunday.
And how crucial is that going to be to get Marley going? The back of SEC, just kind of the leader player she is.
And she knows that. She definitely knows that. And every kid goes through this, and she's been going through it. And thank God we have 2 really good catchers because it doesn't hurt us. I think Riley's about to come out of it too. So when both of them start to hit, it's going to be really scary. But we need Marley's bat, definitely. And then I think one of the things that is key with her, when you guys saw, she went up the middle. That's what she needs to do. She rarely pulled a ball to almost hit me. She's done that, 3/4 of the season. But I didn't get a ball near me in her at-bats, which means she's seeing it well. And she's letting the ball travel and hitting it where it's pitched, because usually it was hooking around the ball. And then that's when it comes over to the third base dugout. But she didn't do that.
Would you say, you talked about this weekend, dropped the first 2 games, came back, dominated pretty much Sunday. Do you think this team, would you say they were kind of better with their backs against the wall?
I know, and it's very, it's frustrating, but I don't know if it was Nate or maybe even Gray over there said, God, we're really good the second time around against a pitcher that started Friday night. I said, we need to do better Friday night. We need to hit her like we hit her on Sunday, or whoever it is on Friday night. And the adjustments that we make from Friday to Sunday have been terrific, like you just said. And you can start with the Virginia Tech young lady who's an All-American pitcher, and we beat them 9-1 on Sunday after she beats us 2-1 on Friday night. She pitched a hell of a game. Same thing with LSU's lefty. She pitched a great game Saturday night, 2-1. And then Sunday when they brought her in, we hit her much better. So I think that sense of urgency that needs to be there Friday night, or now Saturday afternoon, hopefully you'll see it, because it definitely needs to be there. Defensively and offensively. We can't let a pitcher run through us, for 4 or 5 innings. We have to be the aggressor Saturday.